Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Lasham Daily Briefing for Monday, the 28th of October, 2024. We'll start here with the synoptic from midnight last night, and we can see there's a couple of warm fronts lying up and down the country, and they're moving towards the east. And if we run that through midnight last night, through to lunchtime today, you can see that the front's moved off into the North Sea, but there's another occlusion and cold front coming down the country, which is bringing the weather that we've got today. If I run that through again to midnight tonight, and then into Tuesday lunchtime, you can see that cold front moves out into the English Channel with another small occlusion coming down the country behind it. Looking at the satellite picture, it's quite difficult to pick out the outline of the UK there, but we're down in this area here, and there's a lot of indiscernible cloud around. But with a bit of imagination, you can work out where those fronts are. Looking at the rain, it's a bit easier to see where the fronts are. Here's the second front coming down from the north, and here's the one that's already gone through, heading off out towards the English Channel. And if we have a look at the forecast rain, we can see that there's a fair bit of rain forecast coming in from the sort of west-northwest. It's probably not going to be as bad as it looks. I think it's more going to be a sort of light drizzle than actual heavy rain. But we'll just have to wait and see on that one and see what actually appears. The Odium TAF is looking at 210, 12 knots with greater than 10k visibility, with few clouds around about 1,000 feet at the moment, and temporarily over the next hour, sort of broken at about 1,000 feet, and a 40% chance that between now and about 2 o'clock this afternoon, visibility down to 7 kilometres and light drizzle, and then becoming from 10 o'clock this morning through until 2, broken 800 feet. Temporarily later on in the afternoon from 2 o'clock through until about 9 o'clock tonight. Visibility down to 6 kilometres in light drizzle, with clouds broken at 600 feet, and a 40% chance that after 4 o'clock that gradually get a little bit worse. Visibility down to 3.5 kilometres in rain and drizzle, broken at 300 feet. The Farnborough TAF is short and sweet and doesn't really reflect any of that. I'm wondering if their Metman's maybe looked at a different forecast this morning. So we'll just skip over that and have a look at the spot winds. The 1,000-foot wind to the north of us, 220 degrees, 20 knots. And to the south of us, 1,000-foot wind is 240, 20 knots. So quite a reasonably strong wind at 1,000 feet. Looking at wind day, I've just picked lunchtime, 12 o'clock. We've got 12 knots southwesterly, and it's pretty much southwesterly all day. The local forecast confirms that right throughout the day it's remaining southwesterly, with it just starting to ease off after dark. They reckon that there's going to be no rain until about 7 o'clock this evening. But if we look at the humidity, it doesn't get below 90% all day, and it's at its best around about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I think we're going to have quite a low cloud base all day. GFS, they're showing temperature up at about 13 at lunchtime today, with the dew point down somewhere in the region of about 12, so a very, very small split there. And if we have a look at what we've actually got here on the airfield at the moment, is round about just under 2 degrees, I think, split. Looking out the window, the camera, we can see we've got that southwesterly wind, which is starting to become brisk. And we've got a lot of low clouds. It actually looks like it's streeting there, but we've got a lot of low cloud around, and we'll need to assess that before we actually do our first launch. Sky sites are showing a thin layer of cloud to begin with, around about 1,000 feet, but that gradually coming down around about lunchtime, right down onto the deck, by the looks of it, as that front gets here and the sort of drizzle and rain gets here, and that's looks like it would right off the afternoon. And if we have a look at top meteo, run that through hour on hour just for the cloud levels, the yellow here is less than 500 feet, and if we watch the Lasham area down here as we run through hour by hour, this is lunchtime into the afternoon. It's kind of hit or miss whether we actually get any clearance at all. It looks like that cloud below 500 feet is going to remain with us throughout the day. NOTAMs then. There's a few NOTAMs to contend with. 15 is Barton Stacey, the usual live firing. 18 is Ash Ranges. There's a group of about four here, but I managed to decipher it. 18 is Ash Ranges, 20 is Deep Cut, 21 Blackwater, and it looks like 49, but it's actually 19, and that's it, Mike Chit. The last three of those are all going to be firing flares, and it's all going to be after 4 o'clock this afternoon. So if we move on now to the airfield brief, we'll start by having a look at the Odium cross-section. And you can see that cloud is down low level at the moment as we're just round about here, 9 o'clock. It's not going to go up much throughout the day, and then by about 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon, that cloud base is going to come down again, perhaps onto the ground about here. And it's going to thicken up as that weather front comes through. So it doesn't look too good. There's no actual weather warnings today. However, there is a brisk wind, and it's like 10, gusting 15, maybe even a little bit more, according to some of the other forecasts. But we'll have that to contend with if we do go out today. The booking system online looks something like this, and that effectively equates to one K21 on booked instructional flying all day. There's a K21 on the casual list. There is a K21 and the K13 booked by club members, and there's a K13 for trial lessons available. But I think we're going to be cancelling the trial lessons today. There is some availability on SH6, but SH8 is booked, and the simulator, of course, is available as per normal. At this juncture, I'm going to call for some volunteers to go down to the workshop immediately after this briefing. We need to get a K13 de-rigged, so if we can go down there and help Alan Meredith with that, that would be very much appreciated. There's no movements today. However, there is a compass swing. It should be happening on the threshold of 09 at this moment. That should be over by 9:30, but if we're going to be setting up, it will be on 23. Which will be well out of the way. And if we do set up on 23, it'll be cables on the boom down on the southeast side of the runway. Gliders on the hard. I can ask everyone to land well into the field. General situation is that there's a cold front passing through the region with low cloud and brisk winds. The grass is wet and soft, so please don't use the wheel brakes unless it's absolutely necessary. This time of year, misting canopies, probably not quite so much today with the brisk winds, but we certainly had misting canopies over the weekend. And just a reminder, and I did have to stop at one buggy yesterday and get people off the flatbed at the back. People are not insured if they're on the flatbed, and of course, if there's the worst comes to the worst, we're leaving ourselves wide open here. So. Seated passengers only in the buggies. We're not insured for anybody on the flatbed. Visual representation of the setup today, if and when we go out. Launch point vehicle will be in the middle of the runway. Winch launching off the hard to the east. Air towing off the hard to the west, or just onto the grass. That'll depend on the type pilot's preference of rolling across the main runway to get airborne. And avoiding the rubble on the disused runways. So that's pretty much it for me today. If we do go out, I'm going to ask you to look after the ground handling, watch canopies in the wind, and just generally keep it safe. But of course, we'll do that whilst enjoying ourselves and having a good time. So that's it from me today. Thanks very much for listening, and I'll see you down at the workshop in about 5-10 minutes. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.